Very, very good morning, everyone. Charles here, Frgnt Daily Chart Analysis. The time is just approaching 20 minutes to 8, local time here in Milan. Friday the 8th of May, 2026. And it's that day of the week. Frgnt Fun Coupon Friday. The reason behind that is statistically my best trading day of the week due to a combination of measures, to be honest, which I won't go into now and bore you all with. But essentially, it is that day of the week. So here we are. What do we have? This morning, a couple of breakdowns have been posted. They're pretty much just my favorites for the day. There is a caveat to that. I'll talk about it in a moment. But US dollar US dollar yen, looking for longs only. There's a tremendous potential towards the upside on US dollar JPY that I really want to get involved in, to be honest. Wasn't able to capitalize on the drop, and therefore I'm going to be pretty aggressive in terms of taking a long position, particularly today, the end of the week. We've got, the close of today for price to look to want to trade towards those higher time frame 50 EMA, and then in line with the DXY overall bias of looking to go long for the end of the week, despite being actually at that 4-hour 50 EMA. I'm expecting rejection short of that before then looking to capitalize on the longs. I'll go into that in a moment, looking at GCAD longs. And also there's a bit of a wild card in there, which, to be honest, it isn't the favorite, but I believe it's a good opportunity to look to take a position, manage it, and just see what happens in line with the DXY. So we'll get into all of that right now for you all. GU, well, that's not a favorite just yet. But as I say, I'm more than likely going to swap out the US dollar CAD and replace it with one of the other main marked pairs. Just so I'll have to come to a conclusion at which I prefer. But nevertheless, DXY. Overall, looking for price, I want to reject those higher time frame order blocks. Weekly is what I'm talking about. Refine that weekly down, bottom right hand chart on the daily. Price is doing a great job of rejecting that daily 50 EMA, and we've also closed above that, the daily order block. We've also closed above that daily 50 EMA. So of course, like all trending pairs, once we get that push, we are expecting, of course, the pullback before the long continuation. However, as you'll see, a couple of hurdles to jump essentially before the DXY is looking to have that confirmation again. We've got that 4-hour 50 EMA where price is hovering around at the moment. If you bring your attention to the 15-minute time frame, that's hence the hold up. We are at that 4-hour 50 EMA where price, of course, wants to reject that to the downside. So DXY not fully confirmed bullish at the moment. However, you do have that, or I do have that range. Once price looks to reject it to the downside, have the range to trade back up towards that 4-hour 50 EMA, and that's where I'll be looking to manage the position on the cross pair, not particularly close it out, because we still have the gap to fill on the DXY over here. I believe there's another gap to fill as well towards the upside. Yeah, on the 4-hour time frame, you can see it a lot clearer. So we've got a market gap here on the 15, you can see quite clearly, and then to the left we have another market gap to be filled. And particularly because it is a Friday, looking for a price to want to push towards that daily 50 EMA for the day. So as I say, if I do get in any cross pair positions, then once the DXY returns back to that 4-hour 50 EMA, I'll be looking to manage those positions in the hope that then price may look to close above that 4-hour 50 EMA and keep pushing towards the daily 50 EMA for the end of the trading day, of which we've got 17 hours and 15 minutes left. So that's the DXY in a nutshell towards the upside. Now, the reason why I might be looking for a US dollar CAD short is because I recognize, well, if price on the DXY has to go to my preferred area for look for the long, then I should be able to capitalize on the DXY weakness coming out of the market, wherever that may get down to. However, nothing in too much of a hurry. I see here that already an area that I've missed, where of course the DXY could look to reject that towards the upside before closing above that 4-hour 50 EMA, which would actually be quite a desired looking formation. You'd have that close above, and of course once you get that close above, we've got that higher high to contend to look to manipulate. Price comes back into an area, and perhaps price may well not return to these areas here. So just to stay very vigilant on the DXY to see what exactly is going on, and I'll just add an alert in there for good measure. I'll pop one slightly lower as I'm going to be quite busy today as well, and alert as price may well look to seek and close above that 4 hour 50 MA. So we'll get into the pairs I'm going to be trading. I'm not trading the DXY today. And that's that. So US dollar CAD, of course. US dollar CAD on the 4 hour time frame, we're trending into a really nice point of interest that's supported by trend. It's supported by a 4 hour order block that price has failed to break and close above. And to be honest, it's just a key structure point. Price made the most recent low from this area, so of course once price comes back up to this lower high, I'm expecting a rejection of some sort. How long that rejection could be for remains on the strength or the weakness of the DXY, and recognizing that the DXY is already in a 4 hour 50 MA pretty much. Well, it's a very important point at the moment where the DXY is sitting at. If the DXY rejects that 4 hour 50 MA, then of course US dollar CAD is going to short momentarily. Therefore, any terms of shorts that I take and go have to manage them quite aggressively to break even, because the DXY is very, well, we won't say it's volatile, we won't even say it's unexpected, but we just don't know how far the DXY is looking to pull back before it then finds the strength that we're anticipating towards the upside. Hence why the US dollar CAD has an amp, although it's a favorite, it has an amp, but just to remind me that, well, I can't be blindsided, as I've said, even on the breakdown, I can't be blindsided by my position itself and where I want price to go. I just have to leave the technicals of what the DXY is actually telling me. Yes, the DXY, it could be in a pullback phase. However, we have no idea how far that pullback could be. And then based on the 15-minute time frame of the DXY, we've made that higher high. The higher low can take place any point before this area and any point beyond this area here also. So we could get a higher low here, we could get a higher low here, we could get a higher low anywhere. We're just using the higher time frame order blocks to guide where we believe the DXY could be looking to turn around from. In my opinion, the DXY is more than likely going to turn around somewhere in this element here, around close to the 4 hour order block, where price, in my opinion, holds better and respects better at that 4 hour order blocks, more so than looking to dig a little bit deeper into the 15-minute time frame. But yeah, that point remains to be fully proven at the moment. But just with my experience on the DXY, as you can see, when price taps into a 4 hour order block, price more often than not has a reaction. And when you look to refine those order blocks down, it's not that I'd be looking to trade from them. It's then what reaction am I getting from that area, i.e. bullish engulfing candles, morning star, evening star formations, etc., etc. So that's the DXY in a nutshell, compared with, of course, US dollar CAD. So in terms of US dollar CAD in the opposite direction, by way of using the DXY strength, I'm not really interested until, let's say, we get a bullish closure above the 4 hour 54 hour order block, or if price wants to trend all the way down here due to US dollar weakness, then of course I'll be looking for a long from down at these lows. If I put this slightly larger for you guys to have a look, down at these lows again, 4 hour order block, yet to be mitigated. If price comes down to this area, see how my alert is in and around that area. I'm not sure if there is a 15-minute order block or I've just missed it completely. But no, there's not a 15-minute order block, so I'll have to wait for confirmation just here by Weber bullish engulfing on the 15-minute candle to allow me to then use a 15-minute order block to look for that long position. Alrighty, so that's US dollar CAD in a nutshell. GCAD. Okay, now this pair has become a bit of a favorite, I'll be honest. So we were trading within a range on that daily time frame for a very, 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 very long period of time, how it seemed. Nevertheless, we had our first bullish candle closure above that area. So based on range and price action, you have price in a range for a considerable amount of time. You then get the push, look for the pullback, lower time frame break of structure before looking to ride that price slightly higher. So I've been quite patient with with GCAD at the moment, just waiting to see price pull down a little bit lower, to be honest, into the order block that it's left behind as a result of the breaks. I'm not really interested in getting in any GCAD positions prematurely. I'm just going to be looking to wait and see if GCAD is going to come back down towards that daily 50 MA, look to reject it for the day, and hopefully by the time GCAD comes back down, the previous 4-hour candle has closed above that 4-hour 50 MA, then we start to pull back in on the next 4-hour candle down to the daily, and then we've got the confluence that we're looking to reject the daily for the day. In the immediacy, we're then looking to reject the 4-hour 50 MA back to the upside. And I think that'd be a really nice position if I'm able to get in along. So nothing else, to be honest, on GCAD. I'm not looking for any shorts at all until it's going to be next week, to be honest, up at these highs. If I miss the long, I do believe I'll miss it in the entirety today, and price will just continue up to these highs. So again, another position that I would really like to get in today as a result of that higher time frame. Well, the daily in particular, as well as price just holding out that daily order block. So it looks nice. It looks very, very, very nice. And of course, that weekly rejection of the weekly 50 MA for the week. As well, as you can see, last week we came into the area, rejected it beautifully, didn't close below it. Therefore, I'm expecting price, as it already has tested that weekly 50 MA, no reason for price to dip any lower, just looking for price to respect the liquidity zones by way of order blocks towards the upside. So let's see if we get a pullback. As you can see by my alerts, nothing until we get up to the highs, where I'm not looking for a short, to be quite honest, and nothing in the immediacy around here. I just want to wait to see if price is going to trend back towards that 4-hour 50 MA and then back into the 15-minute refine, look for that confirmation before taking price higher. So that's certainly a favorite of the day. And then UJ, definitely a favorite of the day. UJ in line with the DXY, of course, the DXY higher time frame, and looking for price to move towards the upside. In the immediacy with the DXY, I recognize DXY is at that 4-hour 50 MA, so I'm not really expecting UJ to go to the 4-hour 50 MA. If the DXY rejects its 4-hour 50 MA, that will mean, or what that will be, once the DXY rejects its 4-hour 50 MA, price will start to trickle back. Although I have these order blocks in and around these areas, I will be looking for confirmation on UJ before looking to take price higher. The reason for that is because we have quite a few areas, and I can't be looking to take immediate positions on this, and on this one, which, okay, the lowest level, I will be taking an immediate position. It's there as a limit, but I'm more than likely just going to sit there. If price gets down to that area, have my trade already planned on MT5, MT4, and then I'll be looking to just hit instant execution as soon as I see any sign of bullish activity coming out of that area. I believe that would be a nice trade to take into the rest of the day. The reason why, look at the weekly, previous weekly candle, we rejected the area that we're currently looking for price to roll back into. Hopefully you haven't missed it as a result of price already coming back down into that area this week, of course, and then rejecting it to the upside. But for me, there hasn't really been any true confirmation to look for that position. There was a 15-minute order block that I waited for price to come slightly deeper within. My desired area was this 5-minute, but price didn't tap into it. Therefore, again, as price was still in that 15-minute order block, I did take a long position, of which I am still in that long position. However, I do believe price is looking to roll back ever so slightly before looking to take that long again and compound that for the week. So I'm break even in a long position. The entry is somewhere here, around about here actually. So we'll see if I get stopped out break even. If price wants to come down to these lower areas, then I most definitely will be stopped out break even, but only for then a re-entry on a better position anyway. So it's not something that I'm too fussed about. Why else would this be a nicer compare? Well, pretty much gone over all of it, to be quite honest. US dollar JPY, we've had that huge move to the downside, that tremendous dump here around about, I think it was 500 pips when I last measured it. Yeah, exactly. So I really want to capitalize and get my slice of the cake on the way back up. I think it's only fair, considering I missed the entire move that didn't have any opportunity whatsoever to get a short in on that US dollar JPY move. So definitely looking to capitalize towards a long in quite an aggressive method, as I've already demonstrated that I wanted price to come down into this 5-minute order block, as the 15 was very, very large. So I just waited to see how deep would it go, and I hit instant execution. As simple as that, to be quite honest. When you do your analysis, you'll find it very comfortable reasonable to do things like that, so long as you have the statistics to back yourself. There's no sort of feeling or process that goes into it. It's just following your strategy and following your analysis. So I think that is my favorites of the day. As I said, it's more than likely I'm going to swap UCAD out. It's a bit of a wild card, as I mentioned. That this is simply based on the weakness of the DXY. Looking for that confirmation. As I've mentioned, the DXY, it may not look as if it moves along, but if I take your attention to my GU shorts yesterday, let's have a look at the similar time on the DXY. What was that? 1:30. DXY at 1:30, just to give you a little bit of insight that the DXY doesn't necessarily have to move tremendous amounts for you to even take profits, let alone manage your position. So 1:30 yesterday, here was where my entry was on GU. And where did I close GU out? At what time? Around about 8:30, and DXY 6:30. So 6:30 was just around about here. So the DXY moved only 1:30 there to 6:30. The DXY only moved that distance for me on GU to take that position, of which moved 50 pips. So it just paints a scenario that even though I'm waiting for overall DXY strength, if the DXY is looking to go bearish for a moment or so, then certainly I should be able to make good benefit from that, especially before looking to manage the position. As you can see, price currently is in that uptrend, so I'll be waiting for some structure areas to be broken. An aggressive position could be taken here, or better still, if the DXY is incredibly bullish, and again it doesn't, bearish, and again it doesn't need to be incredibly bearish. If we do get some structure breaks, which to be honest I'm not really expecting based on DXY strength coming out of the market. In fairness, if the DXY looks to move so far to the downside, I'd then be expecting long-term strength, and it's unlikely I'll be looking to take this short position at that point. So for me, this is going to be an aggressive position as a result of recognizing the DXY may not have all day to move bearish. It might just have a slight bearish move before looking to go longer. So US dollar CAD, very much so aggressive looking position, structure point, break of structure. You can see my alert is there, looking for that break, see if there's an order block above, which there is still available. So that's given me all the incentive to recognize that actually the short will be a nice position. Still got that 15-minute order block available. Can see where the liquidity may well lie. Can understand that stops and orders are already placed here based on retail traders looking to just trade simple support and resistance. Price will look to pop through into that 15-minute order block. You can already forecast it now. Lower time frame break or structure right there up at the highs, and I'll have to get break even by somewhere around this area, if not by that 4-hour 15-minute on this pair. Or in contrast to the DXY, if we move through here, then I'll have to be quite smart in my management and not really anticipate price to roll all the way down to these lows. Just look to manage it as soon as possible and get out of the market. So team, thank you very much. 20-minute breakdown. My favorites of the day, as I said, probably going to have to go through these. Perhaps if I miss the US dollar CAD short, then I'm going to have to swap it out and do a bit of extra work to see what there is available. But certainly I won't be looking to trade AUD US dollar. We're very, very bullish on the 4-hour. We're trading now within, there's a daily order block that I've not put on the chart towards the upside that's just clogging up the charts. We're trading out of a weekly refined daily, but we failed to break and close above. And my trading range, for example, if I put that daily order block on the chart for you to have a look, this is pretty much the range. That's the daily order block there. So therefore, I'm trading out of this daily order block short, but also I need to be trading out of this daily and 4-hour order block long. Therefore, it doesn't really scream high probable setup at the moment. It just tells me that the Aussie dollar is not as weak as all the other cross pairs against the US dollar. We've been GJ pretty much similar to UJ, to be honest. However, my favorite would be UJ, based on the fact I want to use that DXY strength to come out of the market. And EU, what was my reasoning for not wanting to trade EU? We've got the daily 50 MA down here. 4-hour order block is 4-hour 50 MA has been respected now towards the upside. We've broken out of the range. So on the EU, in my opinion, this looks like the technical play. However, of course, US dollar strength is going to want to push EU to the downside. Nevertheless, I'm not sure about the range based on the daily 50 MA. We'll have a look at it. We've got that 4-hour order block available once we start to refine those areas down. On the 15-minute time frame, where's my highest 15-minute order